Hey guys, what's up? It's Kaiser Pineapple. What am I doing? It's Saturday. It's Saturday afternoon. I don't usually stream except for Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, I just said, what the hey. I'm hanging out here at the house. If you hear some loud kid noises in the background, he's having a nap, or at least he's supposed to be. It's just the monitor, so I'm just hanging out here at the house by myself. So figure just hang out, paint some minis, relax for about an hour or so, see if anybody shows up for the chat. Generally just have a good old time. I say we're gonna just enjoy ourselves on this somewhat dreary but not too bad Saturday here. So as always, I'm your host, Kaiser Pineapple, and this is what I do. I just hang out and we stream and we do everything from painting little mini cheers like this to big honking hosses like this, or sometimes even bigger. So I don't really even have a specific plan for today. I just know that I decided, hey, what the heck? Let's just stream for a bit. Maybe work on this guy a little bit. I've been meaning to kind of get this one started. And we'll see what happens from there. Because why not? Yeah, I'm not going to hang out for too long, but figured I'd jump on there. If anybody sees the link out there in the chat and whatnot, please feel free to drop on in. As always, if you're watching this, either now or in the future, dip down there, hit that like button. If you like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be notified, whenever I have new streams. Come hang out. Again, I usually do this Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm just kind of, doing this as a thing. It's just kind of a little fun gig that I do. And let me, now that I'm hearing it in my audio, turn off my air conditioner. I say, Kaiser, it's winter where you're at, right? Why the heck do you have an air conditioner and why is it on? Yeah, because this office is kind of enclosed and it's on the opposite end of the house from the HVAC. So with all the equipment in here, it gets rather toasty. That's usually why I've got it anywho. So, without further ado, let's, I know it's adieu, not adieu, but whatever. I'm not French. All right, let's get down to it. Let's have a little fun, shall we? So, yeah, I'm not going to do anything too off the wall crazy here. I'm just kind of, like I said, this is a kind of not my usual stream, so we're just going to have a good time. We're going to relax, enjoy ourselves, see what happens. So there we go. And I've got the wireless keyboard and mouse already hooked up, so I've got at least some level of control over what I'm doing. Not that I've ever had control over anything like that, but ever in the past. All right. Let me see here, because I need to grab some primer. Let me prime this puppy up. And, my primer is right here. A little bit of good old-fashioned gray gray Vallejo. Sorry, I try to pronounce it right, but I'm not Spanish, and I apologize. I took 3 years of Spanish class, and to this day, I can really only remember hello, goodbye, yes, no, give me a beer, and where's the bathroom? That's about as much Spanish as I can remember, and I figure that's about as much as I usually need to know for everyday life. That's my joke, and I'm sticking to it. All right. So actually, I got this brush here. It's a little bit frizzy, so I'm going to hit it with a little bit of preservative, kind of get that tip a little bit more sculpted where it needs to be. That's much better. And we'll just put that over there to dry. Don't worry. This stuff is basically meant to be kind of put into the bristles of your brush, and that one, it's a kind of a preservative and cleaner. Fantastic stuff. Highly recommend it. $4 on Amazon. You can't go wrong. If you want your brushes to last longer and still keep their bristliness or whatever the case may be, I don't know, whatever you want. Yeah, it should help you with that. Although don't quote me too much. All right. Grab this guy here. It seems like something. It would not be a stream if I did not immediately drop something. So we're off to a great start there. Let's go ahead and put him in our little handle. And while I'm doing that, I've got my little got my phone over there, so that way if I'm waiting on some information, like one of my buddies to get back to me with some stuff, so what the hey. Did a little bit of that there. So right now we're not doing anything too fancy. We're just hitting this guy with some primer, so that way we have a nice surface to put paint on. As you can hear, my kid agrees. He is in the other room. That's just him on the monitor. So it's supposed to be his nap time, but well, apparently that's not working out very well. Okay. And as usual, I start trying to hand prime these things, and I realize, only about a minute or two into it that, my God, hand priming is boring. So let's flip the air compressor on. And looks like I made a whoopsie last night, or the other night, and did not properly clean out my paint pot. That was dumb. I stand firmly by what I always like to say that, to most folks, which is that if you're coming to me for most tips, tricks, and techniques, God help you. Good luck and God help you, because if I'm your expert, then I can't be held liable for any damages or whatnot after the fact. I do not proclaim, profess, or anything else to be any kind of so-called expert on anything whatsoever. So, take my advice with your own. So, take my advice at your own risk. So, getting a little bit of, now that I think about it, I got to open this valve back up. Right now, I'm just emptying out all the excess paint and stuff like that I put in the cup to clean it out into the spray out pot. Kind of boring, really. So I hope everybody out there in internet land is having a good day, hanging out, having a good time. We'll really open this valve up now. All right, so we have flow, but it's just very, 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 very weak. There we go. All right. Got a little bit of spillage there, but no big deal. Just working on clearing out my airbrush, getting that cleaned out. Put a little bit of extra airbrush cleaner in there. Give that a spray out. There we are. Take this brush, kind of go down in there, make sure that we don't have any deposits or leftover chunks or anything. There's a couple little ones right there, nothing major. Okay, so since I still see that we've got a little bit of stuff down in there, we're going to go ahead and pop the line on this. We're going to do a quick little disassembly. So if you're ever trying to figure out, I was like, hey, how do you clean one of these things? Well, guess what? Now is today's your lucky day. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick, very basic disassembly on my airbrush here. Okay, and there's our needle. Now I definitely notice I'm going to need to hit this with some grease because it's getting a little bound up in a couple spots. There we go. This is the trickiest part right here because you have this little cap and then you have this little nozzle right here, which, as you might have seen, had some gunk just stuck in it. That little bastard right there will go sailing very easily if you're not paying attention to it, and it will sprout legs and run away from you, and you will never find it again because it is extremely tiny and it is made of brass. So good luck trying to find it with a magnet because it is a non-ferrous metal. So I'm just using the very tip of my X-Acto, probably giving a few people a heart attack out there. Again, as I said, I don't profess to be any level of expert or whatnot on this, but hey, if you take my advice, you take it at your own risk. These are some punches for cleaning airbrushes anyway, so we're just using some of those. There is something is gunked up down there that I cannot tell what the heck that is. Oh, okay, never mind. It actually was not gunk. It was literally just a little bit of... Okay, yep, I know what that is now. Never mind, it was not gunk. Now, I cleaned this out before I did our, airbrushing last stream, but I forgot to clean it out in between. It's been about 2 days, so that was definitely an oopsie on my part. Thankfully, the stuff that I was using had been thinned out enough that I really didn't have too much to worry about there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that little itty bitty tiny nozzle back on. Got our nozzle cap, which, hang on, I actually just remembered something. Son of a bitch, I did do that. I did get a new nozzle cap last time. I just never put the damn thing on. I recently got a new needle and nozzle and cap, and I didn't know that apparently this little thing comes in 2 parts. So, never really got around to that. At least it's supposed to, anyway. Yeah, well, this stream is off to a great start. Okay. Hang tight. I'm going to go off camera for a sec and do a little bit of maintenance here. I am extremely concerned. And this piece is not going to come off. It appears that they are threaded together. But for the life of me, and all the time that I've owned this thing, I don't think they've ever been apart. So use the back of the blade here to kind of clean into that separation. I'm still dubious as to if that really is the case, but, you know, it is what it is. All right. I'm looking up something live. Okay, so yeah, according to the parts manual, hang on here, I'm going to do a little bit of a presentation. All right, so apparently, according to what I have on the camera here, I have this little piece right here, which is this guy right here. And I need to separate it from this guy here, which is very much stuck on there. R001. Uh-huh. Well, that just, don't that beat all. Yeah, R001. Huh. Okay. Well, don't that beat all. All right. Well, I know that they're supposed to separate now. I just got to figure out how to get them apart. You never know what's going to happen on these impromptu Saturday streams. Swear I'm going to have to probably soak this thing overnight in something. Yeah, I mean, I can use it with the nozzle cap that I've got now. It's not really going to cause a problem. You know, I should replace it, and I'm going to. I'm just not going to worry about it today because, you know, I'm not really all that, because now I'm not that worried about it. All right, went ahead and put those back on. Put this back in the tube here. Not that one. Put that back where I had it. All right. We got our needle here. We'll put just a little bit of airbrush cleaner on here. I'm going to kind of just clean that needle up. As my kid sings us the song of his people in the background. All right. Nope, forgot to take the spring out here. There we go. So we're going to fit that back in there. Make sure our button is in contact with that. Okay. The plunger for the air. Kind of screw that back in and then take it right back out because I forgot to put the spring back on. And there we go. Go ahead and feed our needle on through. Okay. Put our retainer cap back on. Now, I'm not trying to tighten this like really hard down. I'm just waiting until it kind of stops. There we go. And voila. I'm going to back this off just a nudge or get more trigger control out of that. Yeah, if I got this screwed all the way up, yeah, I got like maybe that much trigger movement, which if you're doing extremely fine work is great. But in this case, we're just going to back it off about 1.5 turns. Yeah, it frees it up quite a bit. All right. So put about a drop, maybe 2 of thinner in there. I don't really have to do much thinning on this primer because it's already pretty thin. Get a little squirt in there. And just grab one of my little brushes, stir it up a little bit. Do that. And I do have my exhaust fan already hooked up going outside over there. So, you know, it's, you know, don't freak out if I'm not using a proper spray booth. I am working on getting the groundwork laid so that way I can go ahead and build one. Because there is seriously nothing on the market that really speaks to the needs that I have for what I do. All right. There we go. Got some gray. Got a little flow there. All right. Yep. Cool. There's not a whole lot to see because it's basically kind of semi-gray on semi-gray. I'm not going to do a whole lot. I just want a nice thin layer of primer, so that way we have something to stick to. So I'm using very little actual like pressure on the trigger and whatnot. Just using very little. It sounds like a lot. It's mostly air. There we go. And that primer, because it's put on with an airbrush like that, it will not take long to dry. That is for certain. I'll go ahead and fit this guy on here, get him primed while I'm thinking about it. And like I said, you don't need a lot of primer. You just need thin layers. Just enough for a matte kind of layer for the paint to stick to. There we go. And that's all there is to it. Priming is stupidly simple. And while I'm sitting here, because I don't have anything better to do, I do have this mini, which I need to probably clean up a couple spots, but this is actually one of mine from a previous game. And I'll go ahead and prime him up, and then I can always do a little bit of work on him afterwards. Now, because he is MSLA plastic, like the resin, from a 3D printed resin, he tends to be a little bit more of a chore than some of the other, like the nozzlers, minis, and stuff like that that are straight from D&D that are already primed. These were not already primed for an earlier release. So I'm doing multiple coats here on this one because it's a little bigger. And I'm trying to use up all this paint, or primer. Yeah, I'm about down. I'm getting down to the wire. All right, that'll do. There we go. Now he's primed. Bam. And how much primer we got left? I think because I see just bubbles. Oh yeah, it's out. All right, so clean the remainder of that out of the cup. Get a little water, kind of do a little bit of this with the dropper. Suck all that out. Drop that in our paint cup, or our washout cup. Ain't gonna hurt it, it's just water. All right. Got most of that flushed out. Nice and clean. Going to hit it with just a little bit of this to go ahead and kind of clean it out a little bit, and we'll spray it out in here in our spray out pot. There we go. Nice one clean. Don't need that anymore. I'm going to take him out of this. Set him over there for another day. And we'll get back to this guy. It's supposed to be a Warforged Cleric. More of a standard size Warforged. There we go. All right, so I see a lot of metals, chains, that kind of thing on him. I see some really cool details right here in this kind of cloak or stole that he's got on. Come on. There we go. A lot of fun details to work with there. Turn him around. We got this, we can... Yeah, you got this nice bandolier of stuff. Come on, focus. And he's got a sensor, which is supposed to be, full of whatever it is they burn, even though he's Warforged, so he's, he's a construct, basically. A sentient construct. And this has got a slight bend in it, but I'm not worried about it because I can straighten that out with just a little bit of my heat gun and, just a itty bitty tiny amount of pressure with that heat. Straighten that right out. All right. So since he's going to have mainly kind of a silvery, metallic, color on most of them anyway, I think we'll just hit this with some some steel. And this one, I'm also just going to go ahead and do a quick spray on of this so that way we can get that base coat. And we can go on over there. I'm not going to try and hit as all of this. I'm just going to try and hit the main areas that I know are going to be that metallic-y kind of color and whatnot. So I might go over a little bit, a couple other spaces, but I can always, spaces, things that are not supposed to be metallic, but I can always fix those later. And they're on a mini like this, they're small and they're not hard to fix anyway. So get a drop in there. Go with one more. Okay. And close it up. Set that aside. Just make sure we don't run out too fast. I'm going to hit it with a drop or two of thinner. There we go. Give it a mix. There we are. Don't have a lot, just what we need to get this little guy painted up. Put my auto back on there for the airbrush, the compressor. And actually for this, because we're using such smaller moves, I'm going to crank that right on down. So yeah, we're not using a lot. We're going to use nice brush control. There we go. He's got some kind of chainmail on there, so we're trying to get him in there a little bit. Get his feet because he does not wear shoes. Alright, let's see this chain. We're going to hit that with this. Although I'm probably going to do something more like copper or something later, but I'll get that underpinning of that metallic kind of color. From the knee down, on this again, on this leg. So there's some cool details on this stole. I'm not gonna hit that with the metallic, but I'm probably going to do something with that by hand later. Same with this sensor there. I'm probably going to hit that with some bronze or something. I'm like that way. There we go. All right. And again, I don't really have to go hog wild on here. I don't need to get everything. I'm just kind of getting some base coat on there. So you see he's got some spots that are not silvery, and you've got some spots that are, come on. There. There we go. Got some spots that are not, that I tried to keep the steel color off of, especially back here on the stole. But yeah, definitely legs and stuff like that. Kind of hit them with some base coat on that. Get that nice little metallic-y look. Just using that Vallejo steel color again, as I mentioned. And I got a little extra. So you know what? While we're at it, let's go ahead and base coat this guy too. I'm not going to worry about hooking him up to the basing thing. Now, like I said, normally I have some kind of apparatus for this, but since I have not yet been able to put the one together for put together, something that I could use for this yet while streaming. Kind of just relegated to what I can do. Again, I have everything, generation, good. And as usual, I'm dropping everything. All right. Okay. Yep, that's it. Oh, there was. All right. So we've used up pretty much all of our steel colors. So we'll go ahead and clean out the pot there. Not a whole lot to really clean out anyway. All right. Get a little water. Get our spray out pot. Try and suck a little bit more of that out. There we go. Give it a wipe. I'm going to open the valve up just a bit, just to make sure we get all that out. Yep, see there was just a little bit left in the system there. Don't worry, that's fine. Comes right off. Now just put a little dribble of that on my hand. And rub. That's out. Gone. No big deal. All said and done. Yeah, to anyone watching there, I say feel free to, as I mentioned before, definitely go down there, hit that like button. I say, if you like what I do, hit that subscribe. Also, there is a chat feature. So if you, feel so inclined, feel free to drop something in the chat. And, I like to engage with my chat. So it is what it is. I'm happy to see what's out there and see who's out there. All right, get a little shot of that the cleaner, spray it out. There we are, nice and clean. Put our cap back on. Just put that back over here on our hanger. I don't need this anymore. All right. Sounds like the kid finally went to sleep. Thank God. Took him long enough. All right. So I've already got a kind of a somewhat plan drawn up here for this guy. I kind of want some nice dark reds and kind of some off-whites and some definitely gold and a little bit of bronze worked in there, along with some nice coppery colors. I want to definitely kind of get that warm sort of feel with the clothing options and everything like that. So still going to try and figure out how to do a couple little things here and there, kind of make it look nice and whatnot. I think we're mainly going to do the trims and the outsides of that. Do some red here in the stole. Probably do white with red down here. And then paint this chain here. I wouldn't mind doing it in kind of like different, like colored links, like different types of metal, that kind of thing. A bit of a Game of Thrones reference for those of you who might actually know. Yeah, I see this. This could be fun. So now that we've got all of our base coats and all that situated, we can actually get into some of the fun here. Let me go ahead and grab this little brush here. Give it a wash. Make sure we don't have any preservative or anything like that in the bristles. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm looking at it, that tip is a little bit more blunt than I would like. So let's see what we got in the inventory. Yeah, this is definitely a little bit smaller, a little sharper. So let's see if that works. That does a little something for us. Excuse me. A couple weeks ago, I had COVID. I'm still kind of getting over some of the after effects of it, but I'm sounding better every day. So if you still cough a little bit, trying not to do that into the microphone, but it's, I keep forgetting to do that. So try not to freak out on me too much there. All right. So let's start here. Let's get a little bit of this off-white. Okay, and this right here is nice and dry, so there's nothing that's going to get cross-contaminated. I think this might be just a little bit, didn't shake it enough, so there'll be a little bit there. Yeah. That's a lot more liquidy than I was expecting, so let me do a little bit of try and do a little bit of surgery here on the old paint bottle. Sometimes things, especially on a stream, do not go according to plan. You got to kind of improvise a little bit, so that is what we're doing. I'm going to get in there with my actual brush, see what the situation is down in there. And yeah, it looks fine. It's just probably just one of those where it hadn't really broken up too much. So go ahead. That was obviously clear, so we're going to pop this back in, clean off that. We're just going to keep giving it the business. Turn off my air compressor. There we are. That looked like it had a little more consistency to it this time, so. Yeah, better. Not perfect, but better. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to get in here. Start slinging some pigment. Try and get that a little bit. There we go. Hang on just a moment. There, that way if he cries, I can hear him, but otherwise, I'm not going to be too loud. So far, he's just sitting there chatting and whatnot when he should be sleeping. But, you know, if you're a parent, you understand the struggle. And because this white is just a little bit watery compared to what I would like, you know, we're just probably going to give it a couple extra coats, kind of let it do its thing right now, and then we'll just come back to it. Give it a nice little layer to build up on. All right. And I'm going to try and get some of it here. Now, this cloth on the back here, I'm probably going to do up in some kind of like deep red or something like that. But I'm trying to kind of knock down some of the extra metallics that got on there from whenever we did the airbrush of the base coat. And there's a couple of spots here where I see that the spray coat didn't completely get in there. And that's no big deal. That sometimes happens. Go ahead and grab my steel color here. Get just a little dip right in there. We'll just hit those spots right now. And yeah, for those of you who are new, may not have ever seen my content before, I'm pretty, laid back and chill. Like to just hang out, sit back, stream a little bit, and just generally have a good time. So, yeah, very rarely do I ever have any kind of issue where I'm like, all right, yeah, this is really getting irritating or anything. Usually it's just kind of like, you know what? It is what it is. So we'll just move on and do what we got to do. And definitely looking like I'm going to need to probably go get another cup of water here soon, so that way I can, because what I've got's already looking a little more murky than I was expecting. All right. Let's hit this bandolier real quick. I see we got some belts and everything. Let's get just a little smidge of this dark earth here, or flat earth. And looks like we had a little bit of stuff to get dried up in the cap. That sometimes happens. No biggie. There we are. And as the old saying goes, with these kind of minis, a little dab will do you. So we've already washed our bristles out here. Go ahead and get a little brown and go to town. So this right now, we're not really worried about precision too much at this time because we're doing mainly just what we call base coats. Getting a nice kind of layer like on the very bottom built up so that way we can kind of expand on it later and hit it with the colors that we really want to kind of happen and come out of this piece. Now, for anybody who has not watched any of my other streams on my usual days when I'm streaming, I do not do kind of, I guess you could call it the typical. I don't do the typical color scheme or the way that I don't paint minis the same way that you often see with a lot of other creators out there because there are some people who apparently possess incredible godlike ability to do line control on what is a miniature that is, by all rights, only about twice the size of a thumbtack, and apparently do like micro detail, like incredible levels of detail on these. I want this to look closer to natural. I don't really want a lot of additional like shading and this and that, and I don't want to force your eye to look at it and see things like a certain way. I want to actually try and work with the the light that I have because the mini will change and it'll look slightly different in different types of light. So I don't like to go hog wild crazy with all this extremely intricate like layers upon layers upon layers of stuff and shading and all that. It's just not me. No shade to anyone out there who does do that. If that's how you want to paint your minis and that's how you do it, great, and that's fine. Do it that way. I tend to be a bit more utilitarian, a bit more Spartan on this, but also I do it this way because this is how I always like to do it, and I do it because it's fun. If you find that you want to do do minis and you want to do them in a different way, more power to you. You just feel free to go ahead and do that all you want because the name of the game is fun, and if you're having fun, then great, you're winning. There's just a little tiny line back there that looks like a belt. Hit that there. Okay, I don't see any more belts in there on that edge. I do see, because Warforged and what they are, there are some crevices here that I do know are wood. So we're going to hit it with this same brown. There we go. Okay. That's a nice little start we got going there. So, that's over there. We're going to go ahead. I got all the paint out of that. Let's see. I think we're going to switch to one of these guys. A little more flat, a little more wedge tipped. And we're going to get ourselves this. Now, this is called bronze. This is bronze. There we go. Get a nice little bit there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this sensor here, because I kind of wanted this to definitely be more of the bronze to brass kind of look anyway. There we go. Excuse me. There we go. And this staff, I really wanted to make this kind of bronze color, as well. So we're going to go ahead and paint that up. I almost dropped it in more paint. That would have been really bad. Yeah, nothing that can't be fixed, but definitely an irritation that I would like to avoid if at all possible. Oh my God, kid, go to sleep already. For criminy sake. All right. All right, so got all that out of there as bristles. As you can see, we're getting a lot drier here on this white. So let's go ahead and do our second coat that I mentioned. Get a little bit up in here. Okay. All right. We got a nice start going on here, guys. All right. So we got that much as it going on. Not bad for so far, only about an hour's worth of work. Excuse me. So, I think at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit this ground real quick. Now that I'm thinking about it, got this kind of stone look here, so we'll go with kind of a nice little stony color. Going to do a little XF20 from Tamiya. It's probably pronounced Tamiya, but again, pronunciation is a fickle, weird thing, and everything has its own way of being said, and nobody wants to clue you in otherwise. There we go. Nice little stone color there. All right. Wham bam. There we go. So we got a nice little start here. We're going to continue this a little bit later. I might do it stream again later on today, maybe tomorrow. But either way, you'll see this one pretty much from start to finish over here on the channel. So, all right. We're going to close things out here and say, just wanted to do a kind of a little short Saturday impromptu stream and say, sadly, nobody could jump in and join us, but it's all right. Things happen. Anyway, my name's Kaiser Pineapple. This has been, what I do, painting and just hanging out with y'all. So if you like what I do, go down, hit that like button, let me know, and, do it for the algorithm. Also, if you want to see more of this, or if you like what I do, hit that subscribe button and ding the little bell and be notified when I got new stuff coming up. So, all right. Usually I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And say, if you want to come on out, swing by. We have chat. We have just a little bit of nice, fun, impromptu hangout. And just do this. Kind of just enjoy the painting and the quiet and the relaxation. All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming out. My name's Kaiser Pineapple. Enjoy, and I will see you guys on the next stream. Bye-bye.